Good afternoon, everyone. I'm C. Anupranta, moderator of today's session. Welcome all of you to this highly anticipated and knowledge enriching webinar being organized by Continuing Professional Education CP Committee of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. This is a moment of pride of all of us as this session marks the first webinar of Council Year 2025-26. We are pleased to announce that we will be organizing this webinar series on every Friday, focusing on emerging and high-value professional topics that are shaping the future of accountancy professions. So I encourage all of you to block your Friday and be a part of these power-packed knowledge session regularly. So the theme of today's session addresses two highly relevant and dynamic area of professional growth. That one first session is putting AI into the practice. Second session is for bank audit credit risk areas. As chartered accountant, we are witnessing unprecedented changes not only in terms of regulatory framework but also in technological landscape. Today's session aims to equip us with insight on how to use artificial intelligence effectively in our practice and enhance our understanding of credit risk assessment in bank audits, which is more critical than ever in the current financial ecosystem. So, the CP committee of ICI has always been a cornerstone in facilitating continuous learning and professional upskilling. In an era where technology, policy, and expectation are rapidly evolving, it is crucial that we as professionals remain updated, relevant, and informed. The committee is fully committed to empowering members by organizing focused, high quality educational programs, helping us maintain our excellence and uphold the values that defines the profession: integrity, independence, and insight. This initiative reflects ICI overarching aim of developing a knowledge is ensuring that we as chartered accountants are equipped to meet not only statutory responsibilities but also the aspiration of fast changing society and economy. Now, I take privilege to introducing the Vice Chairman of CPC of ICIC Vishnu Kumar Agarwal. Although he is not able to join due to some unavoidable urgent commitment, C. Vishnu Kumar Agarwal, a fellow chartered accountant and DISA qualified professional, is currently serving as Central Council member for the term 2025-29. He is a vice chairman of both the CP committee and the direct tax committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. In addition, he is an active contributor to several other important committees of ICI. Although Vishnu Agarwal sir is not today in today's webinar, but we acknowledge his support and guidance in organizing this webinar, and we convey our regards and best wishes to him. Now, I take this opportunity to introduce the chairman of Continuing Professional Education Committee of ICI, CA Satish Kumar Gupta sir, a distinguished leader and a highly respected member of our fraternity. C. Gupta sir is currently serving as a Central Council member of ICI for the term 25-29 and has previously served as distinction during the term 2019 to 2022. He holds the prestigious position of chairman of the CP committee and has earlier chaired notable committees such as SMP committees of SAFA and the CSR committee of ICI. His leadership journey has been decorated with numerous of recognition, including the Excellent Branch Award, Special Silver Shield, and Best Member of the Year Award 2004. During his tenure as chairman of Jaipur branch, a prolific contributor to the professional literature, C. Gupta sir has authored more than 8 technical papers and has been a much sought after speaker at various seminars, residential refresher courses, and webinars on the diverse topics such as GST provision, income tax assessment, and reassessment under the Income Tax Act. With great respect and administration, I now invite CA Satish Gupta sir, Chairman of CP Committee, to kindly deliver the welcome address. Over to Satish sir.
Thank you, Anup. Thanks a lot. My dear friend Narsimhan Ellen Gowan, he is a notable chartered accountant, notable professional, and I say him that he catches the future in practice of profession well in advance than others. I am also seeing my brother C. Anup, who is just like my younger brother, a notable professional of Jaipur, doing very good work in especially in the audit sector. And secretary, very dynamic secretary, very proactive secretary of the CP committee, who is always available for the profession, for the members in practice, for the members in service also, Ajit Bhai. Nisarg, who is giving the tech support, and the team of the CP committee from the background, and my dear friends who are attending this webinar in a big number. At the very outset, let me welcome you all in this webinar on behalf of my personal behalf and on behalf of the CP committee. Friends, as rightly told by the Anup, CP committee is the core committee of the ICI and working since very long for giving the education to the members in practice and to other members also. And we are also doing the physical seminars, physical conferences, residential refresher courses, workshops, even foreign RRCs under our committee. But the basic work of the CP committee to impart the education for the furtherance of knowledge. Friends, today's two topics in the webinar are very important for all of us. Number one is the role of AI in the practice, and number two is the bank branch audit. On the topic role of the AI in the practice, my brother Narsimhan is going to take, and as I had already told you that he's the wonderful person, the master of this whole technology part in the profession. He has done several things when I was in the council on this 19 to 22. He had done a lot for the profession, and I got an opportunity to work with him also that time also. He's a wonderful person and very knowledgeable, and I think his session will enrich us, all of us, about the AI in the CA profession. Friends, AI, artificial intelligence, we all know, is the topic of the new age, and each one is talking about the AI. And if you talk about the profession, AI is not only for the audit or the risk management, it is for the tax advisory, it is for the financial reporting, it is for the other works related to profession like client advisory, etc. And by adopting AI, we can improve our efficiency, we can reduce our cost, we can just go near to accuracy, and we can do our system automate, and decision making will also be different, definitely be better. So AI is a need of the hour, and I requested Tiwari ji ki then we should invite Narsimhan ji for this wonderful topic and at this right time, because our most of the practitioners are going for the bank branch audit. So how can AI be used for the bank branch audit? Narsimhan sir, I will request you for at least for 5 minutes you can cover this aspect also, so it will be beneficial for them. What is my problem that in CP committee we cannot cover only one topic, so we will have to come for more than one topic. So I thought Narsimhan ji is the right person to hear. And another topic, friends, is the bank branch audit. We all know that it is all are working on that. There are several seminars on the bank branch audit. Still, we are coming and joining each one session and trying to get something new, so we can perform the best in the interest of profession. So friends, there are some other things which I want to talk. I will take one more minute, friends. This is the time when Income Tax Bill 2025 has come for all of us. And I would request each and every member who is in this webinar, please work on that Income Tax Bill 2025. kindly go through the entire important provisions and find out the suggestions which we can make to the government or the CBT or the DTC of the ICI. So we can represent before the select committee or before the CBT or before the government that for the purpose the bill has been brought is a simplification. So if there is anything which we are feeling that it is not simple, it is still something not according to the wishes of the finance minister or the government, we should bring the same thing in the knowledge of the government. Two, three things I would like to talk about the CP committee, friends. You will be surprised to know, who are not aware, that whatever you are attending, this is unstructured learning, but the credit will go in your account automatically under the head under unstructured credit. But if we talk about the structured credit, friends, our committee is thinking seriously to give the credit to the members on the real time basis. Whatever you attend, how much time you attend, we will give the credit for that particular time only. So we need your support and we need your suggestions that how we can implement that bigger idea for the benefit of the profession and the fraternity. Friends, I am also heading the UDIN, and in the UDIN also, Union Committee also, we are going to bring 2-3 important changes, that we are going to block the issuance of UDIN after completion of the limit of the, for example, tax audit is 60 or audit is limit as of now. So no member would be in position to issue 61st UDIN if their limit is complete. And we are also going to have the data of the previous audit and the current auditor. So if the member asks who is the succeeding auditor in case he has not received his fees for the back year audits, so UDIN will be in the position to tell the member that he is the person who is appointed by the that particular assessee. Especially in tax audit, it happens that we are not in position to know who is the succeeding auditor. So you can contact with the succeeding auditor to get your fees. So these are the things which we are coming, and in CMP committee, where I am the vice chairman, we are also going to bring several good works for all of us practicing members. We are going to come with the very I can say in-depth course on the real estate super consultant. We are going to bring a course on that particular outsourcing professional. How can we become the successful outsourcing professional? So 5 type of courses we are going to say. A virtual CFO, one of the course we are going to bring, and all these will be the residential courses giving an in-depth knowledge by the experts of the topic in our CMP. So I request each one of you to kindly remain in touch with the ICI with all the committees and join all the programs which may increase our value, and where we can get the value addition. I would not take much of your time because it is already 3:13. So thank you very much, Anup. Thank you very much, Narsimhan sir. Thank you very much, another speaker, and thank you, Ajit bhai, and the other committee colleagues for giving me this opportunity to share my views with the audience. And I would definitely work for the betterment of professional fraternity this year and for next 3 years under this aegis of this committee as a council member of the ICI. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. All the best. Jai Bharat, Jai ICI. Thank you. Anup.
Sir, Anup ji, just to add on what Chairman Sir said, I am Ajit Tiwari, Secretary of CP Committee. CP Committee has launched, Chairman Sir has taken initiative to take some kind of feedback on the working of CP Committee and also related to the future working, what best can be done in the committee. So we have launched a feedback kind of thing, very small feedback that we have hosted on the ICI website also under the committee page and on cpici.org as well. Members, we have around 800 plus members now working. So all you are requested to just go through the homepage of the cpici.org and send us, that feedback, so that committee can collate and work upon those, feedback for the betterment of them. Thank you, Anup.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, C.A. Satish Gupta sir, for your gracious words. With your inspiring thoughts, your guidance and visionary leadership are deeply valued by the entire professional community. I am also pleased to share that we have currently over approx 700 plus participants attending this webinar from various parts of countries and abroad. This remarkable turnout reflects the relevance of today's topic and stature of our esteemed speakers. So now I introduce CA Narasimhan sir. It's now my pleasure to introduce the speaker of first technical session of the day, CA Narasimhan sir, who will be speaking on the topic putting AI into the practice. C. Narasimhan sir is a renowned technology and risk management enthusiast and a cyber security auditor. His core areas of practice includes cybersecurity audit, SOC 2, and IT attestation and audit involving emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, and IoT. He is well-known faculty of DISA, CISA, and blockchain technology courses and has authored several books of ICI, KSCAA, and other institutes. C.A. Narasimhan sir is regular and highly sought after speaker at national and international forums, including ICA, ISACA, CIA, and FICCI, and has had the honor of speaking at ISACA Global Conference, Asia CAX, Europe CAX, and Africa CAX, and North America CAX, where he is consistently being among the youngest and the top rated speakers. His passion for technology and his ability for complex concept make him a true thought leader in this space. With great respect, I invite C. Narasimhan sir to take over and begin his presentation on putting AI into the practice. Over to sir.
Thank you so much. I'm quickly going to share my screen and I want you to confirm if this is visible. Just to bring it into context, what I will be doing is I will be showing certain live demonstration of certain AI tools so that you get a flavor of what is the capability of AI. And at the same time, you also understand what the future entails us. So considering my screen is now visible.
Yes, sir.
This was one image which I happened to see long back, and I'm sure this was at least a good maybe 4 to 5 years back. I remember seeing the screen, and the title of this image was "Humans are hooked, machines are learning," which means humans are actually hooked to a mobile phone, whereas machine is actually learning from us what we are doing, what are the interesting things happening, and things like that, right? So that's very interesting, which I found, and that is what is happening today, right? From your YouTube to your social media, the machines are learning so much about you, right? Now, having understood that, the whole concept of AI, if I have to probably give you in a quick click of a button, it is about a machine having an ability to think based on a scenario or a circumstance. Now, the concept of AI is not something new. It was there historically, maybe from 1950s, right? But what happened was, at that point of time, the data or information was probably very minimal. Today, machines and the data and the algorithms have become smarter, resulting in a lot more accuracy compared to the past. Let's take a simple example. If I say manual books of account, today hardly there are a handful of people who are actually doing that, right? Probably 10 years back, there were a good number of people. 50 years back, everybody was doing it. You know, it would have been a reverse. Maybe 1 of 1,000 or 1 of 1 lakh or 1 of 1 million would probably have a computerized accounting, maybe about a decade or 3 to 4 decades back. So things are definitely changed, right? So the AI was at that point in time basically understanding if a response was given, whether you are able to identify whether a human is giving a response or machine was giving a response. That is probably, to that extent only, right? And that was in 1950s. But then came the era of machine learning, where the machine started learning, like your Google map. It suggests this is the best route for you. You may probably have to take a detour elsewhere, right? And then came an era of deep learning. A deep learning is basically where a machine or a model that is mimicking a human brain. And then comes generative AI, which is the latest buzzword, the chat GPTs of the world. What they've started creating is a huge amount of noise, of course, a lot of nuisance as well. But anyways, they've created a lot of potential opportunities as well as challenges when it comes to our profession. And the concept of generative AI is ability of a machine to generate information, text, images, audio, video, right? Recently, I think everybody went very crazy with social media with a new type of an image. Japanese art form, right? Everybody started uploading their personal photograph and try to get an anime version or animated version. That's been all over social media. Some of you would have already seen in your friends' WhatsApp status, or somebody sharing in the group or whatever it is, right? So that's basically where generative AI is trying to do some lot of noise around. Given all of this, what are something which is fundamentally different, right? The traditional system, the systems where you had to give the data and the program and you used to get an output. The AI driven world is very different. The data and output is fed into the computer. The machine auto creates the program. You heard me, right? The machine auto creates the program. And when you're auto creating the program, that is where the whole logic and the whole sense of things actually changes. And you will be surprised that the way at which and the pace at which it is growing is something exceptional, right? Just to give an example, some of the fundamentals, I may not probably have time to explain all of this because it's just a 1 hour session, but I'll give you one simple example just for you to get an idea of how these things work. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into some app. Okay, I'm going to quickly share my camera and let's see what the app is able to identify. Hi, can you see my screen? What do you think I'm actually speaking about?
Hey, see a slide titled AI Technology Building Blocks with sections on data, processing, and action. It looks like you're discussing the components of AI technology and their roles. Are you presenting about how companies can use AI for business value?
Looks like you've got it right. Can you tell me which app I'm using to present this? Maybe you can look into some hints from the screen.
Sure, let me take a closer look. I see some presentation controls at the top, which suggests you're using an online meeting or presentation tool. It might be Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Are you using one of those?
Interesting, I think you got it right. And if I probably flip my screen and I go into some of this, can you tell me what exactly is this app all about?
Sure, I see a screen with the app Perplexity. It's a tool that combines search with AI for answering questions and doing research. It looks like it offers deep research capabilities and organized spaces for different topics. Is there something specific you'd like to know about it?
Is this app better or is ChatGPT better?
Both apps have their strengths. ChatGPT is great for generating conversational responses, creative writing, and answering questions. Perplexity, on the other hand, is more focused on combining search and AI for deeper research and organized information. It depends on what you're looking for.
Did you notice what I just spoke for your information is nothing but what you see on the screen? Machine vision, speech recognition, natural language processing, where a machine is able to see what is being shown on the screen. It is able to recognize my speech and it is able to answer the way I'm asking the question. So the first three building blocks of AI is basically what we try to cover. And just to give you an example, this app was none other than ChatGPT. And just for your reference, whatever ChatGPT answered, I will show that to you in a minute. The moment the website loads, you will find this entire conversation sitting out here. Right? So while that is sort of loading, let me also give you another perspective of what solutions such as these can do. And this is another generative AI capability, and it's called Perplexity AI. Now, what it does is that it could go ahead and do some sort of a goal or try to do some sort of a search based on parameters, but it is very useful for research oriented topic, right? Something like what we saw in the chat GPT, perhaps another solution which can do something on these lines, right? Now, while I am mentioning or speaking about all of this, you will have to keep in mind that there are many generative AI solutions which are which are available in this world today, which are doing a lot of interesting features, right? And that is where the entire concept of generative AI becomes a lot more relevant, right? So I'll go into quickly to give you some perspective of what these topics are. And it is something like this kid who's actually a little surprised and who wants some sort of a wireless treatment instead of actually having the injection into his skin, right? That is given the changing needs a new perspective compared to clients, employees, and regulators. And therefore, we need to understand, how do I navigate this world of generative AI? For that, the simplest thing one we should be aware is to understand how does any of these generative AI models work. And the fundamental question is understanding what is a prompt. If search is for Google, generative AI, we use the word prompt. In other words, prompt is something which helps or clarifies, or as a matter of fact, is a statement which you give to a generative AI based on which it gives you an output. Oftentimes, you would have just gone ahead and said, give me this, give me that, right? But very seldom you would have noticed that you write a prompt better, you get a better outcome. To give an example, if you say, give me a response to a GST notice, versus you give a context and ask it to give a response to a GST notice, the way it does is very different, right? And that is where you need to be very clear that how do I write a prompt? And the first message which I want to give each of you is, writing a prompt is not an easy affair. You need to keep certain things in your mind before you write it. The first thing being persona. Persona refers to the character which you want the generative AI to assume. It could be act as an auditor, act as a financial analyst, act as a forensic expert, act as probably an investment banker, act as a startup evaluation consultant. So depending on the profession or the domain which you are, you can wear multiple hats. Next is the context. Context refers to a scene where you understand what is the background and the perspective. To give an example, if you ask a generative AI solution, help me understand what is the tax saving mechanisms, it will probably say some file, some IRS forms. Little did it understand that you're asking from a Indian context, and therefore what really matters is the context which you have defined. Then comes the instruction. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you don't want to do? Give some examples, give some formats, right? I want it in a Word format, I want it in Excel. Those are good, but remember, those consume a lot of tokens. Instead, you can say, give me a structured format so that I can copy in a Word. Give me in a structured format or a tabular format so that I can use it in an Excel. That will consume lesser tokens. And since some of us are using some of these free generative AI solutions, one needs to be conscious as to how best you utilize the tokens. And tokens, for simplicity's sake, is the number of credits which are available. And then you have the constraints. Constraints refers to the limitations within which a person operates. Constraints refer to what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do, right? Constraints refer to giving some sort of a conditions. And then comes the element of tone. All of this is how you want the generative AI to respond. Professional tone, satire, skeptical, on a jovial note, right? And the last three is depending upon a specific situation. You want it to be delimited, you want the data in an Excel form or a CSV format or something which is in a different format, right? You can have a technique based on which it wants. These are some of the things which you should obviously consider. Just to give an example for you to get some better clarity, right? If a good prompt, it could be like this: act like a helpful tutor, which is a persona, to explain the process of photosynthesis. Objective. Audience, to a 14-year-old student. Purpose or context, to assist in biology exam. And boundaries, give me in 300 words, right? So this gives you a flavor of how a prompt should be configured or prompt should be written. And if you'll be surprised if I tell you, some of these elements are configurable in an app like ChatGPT. Some of them are configurable in an app like ChatGPT. So let's see how it works. Hopefully my ChatGPT works. Yeah. So if you look over here, I have ChatGPT account. I've just logged in. On the top corner, generally my profile name, picture, photograph, any of those would appear. So I click on this and there is an option called Customize ChatGPT. And if you go to Customize ChatGPT, it tells you what are the things you want ChatGPT to know about you. For example, you can give a nickname if you want ChatGPT to call you, right? What do? You can say, I'm a CA specializing in cyber security, right? And then you can say respond in a professional tone, answer to the point. These are all the traits which you should have. Nothing but what we saw over here, the profile, the persona, the tone. Each of those is basically what ChatGPT has enabled this option where you can go and configure. This will make sure your responses are very specific and very apt in a particular scenario. And if you find these options not sufficient, you can click here on a refresh. You get few more options. For example, you can just say that give me a corporate response. That means I want corporate jargons, right? I want a humble response. I can simply say, give me direct response, right? Be respectful. I can say that, hey, focus on probably professional. Use a professional formal tone. So depending on situation, I can go and configure this. And this gives me the advantage for it to be used in a much more sophisticated and much more easy to use approach, right? So this is the first thing which I recommend you to. The second thing which I should probably all of you should be aware is click on this again icon, go to this settings options now, go to this option called data controls, make sure improve the model for everybody is turned off. Okay. While this does not assure that your data is safe, it is a small deterrent whereby by configuring this, your data is not moving to the OpenAI system. Okay. So these are few first things which you ought to do. And then let's simply try to write a prompt to see how a particular response appears. And for this, I'm going to be using Perplexity. I'll then compare it with some other solutions such as Claude or ChatGPT, etc., for you to get an idea. Okay, so Perplexity, as I said, is another app which is useful for research and other purpose. Say, for example, I am going to say, I received a GST notice which says GST 3B and GST 2 are having mismatch. Give me a notice reply in English and also refer to any Supreme Court or High Court or Tribunal Court judgments as a part of the reply, which will give me a favorable order. Now, did you notice here that I wrote a prompt fairly lengthy, 3 to 4 lines? Imagine if you were asking your article staff or your junior employee and explaining this is how I want the work to be done. That's exactly this. It does exactly that, right? The more concise and clear you're giving, it is better, right? And of course, you can go ahead and tweak it a little better, but let's go ahead and just issue this. And here, if you go, there are multiple models based on which you can go and do a search. I'm not choosing any of them. I'm just doing it as a basic one and just say run this. So now what it does, it starts searching. Okay. Remember, Perplexity is useful for research. So therefore, any topic which you get, it will first go search throughout the internet and identify what are the cases. Look at this. It went searched about 19 different sources. It is given different sort of references. And based on that, it has identified what it needs to reply, right? So that's just to give you an example. Then if you go back to this, it says to the Deputy Commissioner of Sales Tax or State Tax. I don't know whether that's right. Response. I'm writing a response. Upon reviewing, I noticed in accordance with the provision of 661, I understand discrepancy exceeds certain threshold may trigger notice. However, I would like to highlight they have given references as well. But the real question to you is whether this GST case law is actually existing or not. That is something which you have to verify. And that is where Perplexity does a brilliant job by giving a source reference as well. So you click on the source reference and probably it takes us to that particular URL. Let's see how it works. So it is taking us to a particular this thing which says Madras High Court allows reassessment for GST 3B to A mismatches. And they've given a particular case, right? So you may probably want to go pick this up and just try to understand. right? So that's just an example what I'm trying to tell you, my dear friends, as to how explainable this solution becomes. And you can always ask the question, why cannot I try this in a chat GPT? Let's see how this goes. I go back here, I go back to chat GPT, and I simply say the same thing. Let's see what happens. I received a GST notice, and here it directly says to superintendent policy, proper officer, subject, in reference to notice bearing number dated so and so. It is already selling certain things. It talks about eligibility. And here, interestingly, it talks about relevant judicial precedents. But if you notice here, nowhere there is a mention of this particular judgment and the citation, or what is the official source of it. And this is where it becomes a little tricky. My suggestion is when you get this information, go ahead and search, do you have some case law like this? Right? It could be yes, it could be no. I'm not denying that. But please make sure you are always validating this output. I could also run this entire thing using a CAGPT. So CAGPT is from our institute where you log in. You will have to visit ai.ica.in. You go and log in. You can go ahead and log in here. And the moment you log in, just give me a minute. If I could request them to be on mute. Yeah. So you go ahead and log in, mention your membership number. Okay, so I will get an OTP. Let's see if this works. Yes, I did get. Okay, and now the moment I log in, okay, now you can see a bunch of these GPTs which our institute has created. For helping you in a simplest language, this is a customized GPT which our institute has created, which runs on top of ChatGPT, right? So I just right click and open in a new tab. The only thing which you have to ensure is you have a logged in ChatGPT account. And please notice here, it says ICI, GST and Indirect Tax GPT. Earlier, the wordings were not there. So I go take this again, the same prompt. I come back here, I paste it. Let's see what happens. Now it says it is searching its knowledge. This knowledge is nothing but the institute publications which our institute has published. All of those are put within this custom GPT where entire knowledge bank or knowledge information is available. Now it goes through all of this, tries to give you a better relevant answer, and let's see how it is, right? So it's a response. This is the reason. And it talks about certain things. And it also gives a legal precedence, but these are all information which is uploaded within the particular GPT, right? Now you can, it also talks about circular, it also talks about other information, and it gives you a fairly good set of information for you to respond. So three things you would have realized. One, each app has its or her own way of responding. Second, the same app, you ask the same question multiple times, it will respond differently, but maybe content will be roughly the same. But the facts and other information, you always make sure you shall verify this, right? And it is always better to use a specific GPT for a specific scenario, right? So this is my first example, which I just wanted to give you. The second example which you can do is you can go through this particular links, multiple elements are there. Let's probably pick up another scenario of an auditing and assurance standard board where you are required to draft a engagement letter as per ICAI requirements for the bank audit, which shall be commencing from tomorrow for ABC Bank, where I have been appointed as the statutory branch auditor of, for example, I'm just writing one, Bangalore branch of ABC. I need to have CC to the following: bank manager, AGM head office, and let us say audit department, right? Now look at this, what happens. In a click of a button, it starts searching its GPT. And what is there in this GPT? It has all the accounting resources. Now it starts going through it and then decides how it should respond, and then slowly start drafting the engagement letter. Look at the extent of prompt where I've given everything in detail. I've not made a mention of name of the bank, etc. It is generally not suggested that you mention the details or the confidential information. However, you are free to mention certain generic information. For example, if you pick up a GST notice, the first header and the last may probably have SSC details. In the between, the core essence or the issue may not have the SSC details, right? So you are free to take an image or upload and things like that, right? Look at this. It says to the branch manager, ABC Bangalore branch, CC Assistant General Manager, Audit Department. Subject, we refer to the communication appointing us. This letter confirms our acceptance. This is the scope of audit. Now you say that, okay, tax audit is not required, you remove this, or LFR is not required, you remove this, right? Audit responsibility, management, reporting, confidentiality, and all of this. Now, if some of these, and look at this, it also says if you want this as a Word or a PDF document, you can do it. But the only trouble is when it gives me in a Word document, it consumes more tokens to convert this and paste it, right? And always do not click on this option. You drag and drop it, whatever you want to copy. Do not click on this because the formatting is slightly skewed. To give an example, let me just see if I can quickly show you an example or an illustrative formatting. I will have to share another screen. Hopefully you should be able to see this in a jiffy, right? See here, see the way it is defined, star, 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 it appears, right? Looks very, very unformed. On the contrary, what I'm now going to do, I'm going to simply click and drag it until here, copy and paste. Can you see how professional it looks, right? And you can just do justification or whatever other things are there, that last bit of formatting, and you're done, right? So that's the first thing you can do. The other thing which you will also do is communication to the previous auditor, right? So communication to the previous auditor, it'll also say this is your draft communication, right? And it gives you that entire thing. So you have your first few things which is ready. Next, you want to say that I want a checklist of items to be kept ready at the bank branch when I commence this audit, right? So therefore, what are the requirements you want from the bank manager? So you will say, give me a letter which I can, or email, which I can send to the bank branch manager on the list of documents which he should keep it ready before my arrival. Also request for loan dump or entire schedule of advances based on type, and NPA schedule, and such other requirements as per ICAI guidance note on bank audit 2025. Keep it as detailed as possible and give me in a table format, right? Let's see what happens. So it starts reading its knowledge. And what is its knowledge? ICA Bank Audit 2025. I was told this was recently updated within this GPT. So it talks about this. Dear bank manager name, we refer to appointment to ensure timely effective. Please give me all the information which is there, right? Previous year audit reports, internal, loan dump, MPA schedule, list of restructured SMA. Did you notice that I never gave this information? I never gave this information. Who gave this information? This was available within the knowledge repository which we spoke of. And that is why it becomes very pertinent or relevant, because it is loaded with additional information. In other words, understand like this: knowledge belongs to you, The algorithm belongs to ChatGPT. I'm combining both, the results are better, right? But this knowledge is not a proprietary knowledge. Anybody can go to the institute website, of course, after entering membership number and other things, will be able to retrieve some of these links, right? That's how they have designed this. And look at this entire thing. It goes up to 18 information. Now you could also go ahead and see if you want to take certain specific references from the bank which sends you the intimation, try to use that and make this much more better and robust, right? So that's basically an example for you to get some idea as to how you should go about it. Okay. Now you can keep on going. You can say that give me LFAR format. Okay. You can say give me the audit report format for this engagement. Assume there is a MOC of 10 lakhs where NPA has to be recognized. Leave placeholders as I can update the same, right? Now you can go ahead and say this is what it is. And now it will start giving me an audit report format with the memorandum of changes, right? To the statutory auditors, ABC Bank, report on financial statements, right? Management responsibility and auditor responsibility. Again, I do not say that this will always be correct. Please apply your sense of touch saying that, whether this is accurate, not accurate. Basis of qualified opinion, it says here, it is presuming it's qualified. I leave that to you how you want to look into, right? And it gives you that entire perspective. Then it talks about MOC, particulars, NPA provision as per branch, as per auditor, X plus 10 lakh, basically difference. Let me know if you want anything further. Now you can say, okay, I need help with LFAR document. Give me for the first 3 sections all the evidence I need to ask in a table format with appropriate columns. Right now, why I'm giving you this is this will give you some flavor just for you to understand how and what information I require for an LFAR. Now it starts searching its knowledge. Remember, I'm doing all of this in the accounting standard GPT, right? You may also have a banking committee GPT, which probably the institute might notify, or bank audit 2025 GPT. So in case they load it, you can probably use that. Otherwise, for the time being, you can definitely consider this, right? LFAR evidence. I hope you remember section 1 is cash, right? It asks you for various information. What is the investment or evidence to be collected, right? And it gives you a fair this thing, right? So I can ask, how about, I think there's something called Jilani committee requirements. I'm going to ask, please note, because this is able to answer all of this because the knowledge is preloaded. If you ask in general, it may not be able to give you such level of accuracy, right? So you need to be cautious in terms of what is asked and how you are asked, right? So this is all to do with some of your procedures. The next element comes, many times they give us a file, and the problem with the file is that it is created in a format which is quite difficult for you to open it or review or understand, right? So in those cases, what is it that I have to do? That becomes very tricky, right? In that case, what you'll have to do? You'll have to pick up any of the format, any of the information. Let's say, for example, I have a file format, which I'm going to present it in a minute. I have a file format like this. I've just anonymized this a little bit because of confidentiality. So it has some format like this. And the trouble for me is I do not know how to format this and structure it. So this is where you can use the help of some of the GPTs to do that as well. Remember, I am not uploading the name of customer. I've replaced the names of customer with certain numbers, right? I've replaced with certain IDs. I've replaced the account number. I've also replaced the branch name and other things. Now what I'm going to do, I am going to this interesting app and it is called as Claude. Claude is a very good app which can do programming, coding, etc. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to upload a file. Let's see how that goes. There's my sample file for upload, and I say, I am doing an audit where I have got this attached information in a format which is not very easy to, or which is not very structured, I'll put it that way, which is not structured. Help me with appropriate formatting with columns. Help me with appropriate formatting with columns, and give me an Excel macro so that I can run those, I can run the script in my Excel sheet to format the data, right? So now what I've told, I have given my format, right? Now it is sort of first analyzing the file. Look at this. Look at the rate or the pace at which it is analyzing, right? It is actually trying to debug, understand what is there, what information is there, what is missing. It is doing a lot of these analysis. And by the way, this approach, what the biggest safety or what precaution I have done is that I am not sharing any information to AI. I am giving a sample information to AI. Based on the sample information, I'm asking AI to generate a program to me so that using that program, I will format my data. Right? That is a simple approach. And I'm not sure whether this will come 100% success. We'll have to do a little bit of a trial and error, because many times what happens, the format which we receive in a bank is very slightly haphazard. It is in that good old 128 column computer or machine, etc. So it becomes a little tricky affair. And for information, right hand side, please look, it is sort of formatting, creating an entire script or a code, right? It looks like a small notepad, right? It's actually created this entire code. Now, what I'm doing is, it also says that it has created this code, and it says all the data in single column. This is how I have done the VBA code so that it helps you for doing it. And if I come down here, right, it says that this is what you need to do. So it'll probably help you with a certain basic structure. How to insert this macro also, it is something which it is said. So let's go ahead and give this a shoot. So where is my, by the way, this is just an example to say how it is done the analysis. Again, let me be clarifying this, that this is just the pattern of analysis. This is where the actual code structure is. And I will go here in the top corner. Can you see this copy icon? So I'm just clicking on this copy icon. I'm going into my Excel spreadsheet, Alt F11. I'm going to go here because that is what is the instruction which it is given here. So please note the instructions which it is given. Alt F11, open the VB editor, insert new module. So I go to insert new module and I paste it, right? The moment I paste this, I close this VB editor, the Excel sheet remains as it is. I need to now press Alt F8. Just for your reference, I need to press Alt F8, right? So I'll go to press Alt F8. You can see this enhanced destructuring and restructure bank report, one macro which is there. I am going to run this with fingers crossed. Let's see what happens. Can you see my entire data got restructured in a click of a button? Of course, I chose only about 5 set of information. And the beauty which I really like is the original data is here safe and sound. The restructured data is here. Now imagine, even if I copied a large file with even 100 plus line items. Let's see if I have something, sample file. So let's say this is a sample file. I am not sure if this is anonymized. So yes, it is anonymized. So I can copy this, right? I can put that into an Excel. I can simply say paste, right? This runs into quite a bit of line items. Alt F11. Let's see if this runs restructure. Sorry, I don't want to complicate the view. Let's go to Alt F8, restructure bank report. Wow. And let's see how many line items I have. Right? Close to about 170 odd line items it is able to restructure. Now, is this 100% accurate? You will have to just glance through it. You will start getting some visibility, right? Now, in fact, what you can now do is you can also say that my data is now become structured, which I'm very happy about it, right? Because it has the name and other things. But you can also say, hey, I noticed that, account number is appearing, but the customer number and account description are all coming within the same grid. So you can ask it to enhance it a little bit, and it will give you a better macro or a script, right? So this is just a starting point for you. You can do multiple analysis. The biggest advantage of this entire thing is your data remains with you, and you are not exposing anything to AI. You're only giving the format and structure. Even in the format and structure, you have made sure your data is anonymized, and therefore you are uploading it. Hopefully that gives you some clarity in terms of how you can do it, right? The other thing which is also possible is an app called as Gamma, which I just want to give you. This is something which is for creating a PowerPoint presentation, right? So I'm just going to click on gamma.app. It'll take me here. So I'm going to click on create new with AI, and I find multiple options. I'm just going to choose the word generate, and I'm going to create 8 cards. Give me the top 10 things I need to, or because I still have 5 more days, right? I want to give a training to my bank audit colleagues, right? So give me the a training deck for my article staff on how to use AI for bank audit. So give me a training deck for my article staff on how to use AI for bank audit, right? And this should be simple and give the reference to regulatory requirements. I'll just put it this way, right? In India, I will write it so that the context is very clear. And I will also write bank statutory branch audit. Now, first, what it will do, it will create 8 slides with a lot of outline content. It'll just give you a structure. And from that structure, the slides will get automatically created for you, right? So it talks about all this information. What are the AI? It just give you some random stuff. I'm not going into the accuracy of it, okay? But it is giving you what is there. And the moment you are done with it, let's say you choose a particular theme which I want, right? I want detailed content. If I want AI images, I can choose, or I will just choose illustrations, right? I can choose AI images also. It will give you a different, it will generate AI images, right? Yeah. So image placeholders, if you don't want, or I can simply say don't add this thing. And now if I say generate, now see AI, you will be able to see it in action, where the entire presentation is getting done within a few seconds. And that's the beauty of this. Look at this, AI in statutory audit. Of course, I use the word AI. You get some illustration of a lady here. And it talks about mandatory compliance, comprehensive review. Look at this. It is creating the presentation in real time, right? It is giving you all of this interesting information. Look, the beautiful thing is it gives you all these interesting. Again, I'm not talking about content. Please note, the purpose is not for a content. The purpose is mostly based on what is it that we are overall covering. Look at this, it gives you a nice triangle. Then data security. It talks about implementation strategy, and then future of banking. So I asked for 8 slides. 8 slides, whatever is there, it is created. And look at that, that AI solution is sort of writing anything. And you can always click on this option over here and export this. You will be able to download it, right? So I just gave you some flavor. Hopefully you got this, because I have been given about an hour's time. I wanted to make justice for about whatever is there, because we have another speaker also having. So just gave you some perspectives of some of the very interesting tools. And by the way, you can go beyond this. You can do risk control mapping. You can do audit trail verification. A lot of those things, you just get started with these things, right? So the only thing which I generally recommend, right, is I think we spoke about checklists, samplings, all of those. The only thing which I recommend to you folks is something which you will find over here. So whatever you create, first identify the need for what it is actually necessary. Some of them you will require an app to do it. Some of them a macro can solve. Some of them maybe some other bigger problem. So let's figure out what is that problem statement. Once you get that, explore and research. see where I can use AI for solving it, see where I can use some solution for solving it. And once that is done, do some bit of a testing before you commit. Always test, and then do a SOP. Maybe if not you, you can ask your article staff, whatever prompt you're writing, if it worked, create a prompt library and reuse that. So that's typically the cycle based on which this keeps on, right? So on that note, the world's biggest problems are always the world's biggest opportunities. Thank you so much for being a very, very patient audience, and my LinkedIn credentials are there. I'll be happy to be in touch. In the interest of time, we may not take questions, but you can always write to me, and we will be able to. I'll see how best I can clarify that. Otherwise, we can be in touch over LinkedIn as well. Thank you. Thanks to you. Back to the organizers.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful and thought-provoking session on putting AI into practice. Your presentation today has truly opened our eyes to the practical dimension of artificial intelligence in the professional services. From audit automation to enhance risk detection and advisory solution, you have not only simplified a complex subject, but also demonstrated how AI can adapt it meaningfully by chartered accountant in their day-to-day engagement. Sir, you have explained complex technology concepts in very simple and practical manner. I am sure all the participants found the session highly useful and gained valuable insight that they can apply in their professional work. We now move on to the second session of the day, and I am pleased to share that the number of participants continues to grow around 900 all over the India and overseas. It is now my privilege to introduce our second speaker, Dr. P. Siva Ramaprasad, a distinguished expert in the field of bank audit and credit risk assessment. Dr. Prasad retired as Assistant General Manager from the State Bank of India, Hyderabad, and later served as Vice President at SBI General Insurance Company Limited. His decade of practical experience in banking and financial service make him one of the most respected voices in this space. He is a renowned author, having written more than 30 books for the various professional institutes on the subject, ranging from banking audit to the risk management. He is a fellow member of Institute of Post Accountant of India, the Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, and the Institute of Company Secretaries of India, among other academic and professional affiliations. Dr. Prasad is also associated with several reputed institutions, including the All India Management Association, New Delhi, and Insurance Institute of Mumbai. With such deep blend of academic insight and practical banking experience, his session today on banking audit, credit risk areas promises to be immense value to all of us. With great respect, I now invite Dr. P. Siva Ramaprasad sir to take the floor and deliver his presentation. Over to the sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, my voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
Visible, sir?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir. Welcome, sir.
So, first of all, thanks to ICI, Continuing Professional Education Committee, for giving an opportunity to discuss about the bank audit, in particular, the credit risk areas. Because the bread and butter of the banking is the credit. I will discuss in detail about the credit risk areas up to 5 o'clock. But in the meantime, some developments are happening in the bank. Only 10 slides I will they show that what are the developments that are happening in the bank. After that, I will start the credit risk areas. These credit risk areas, whatever I am going to discuss, if that branches are not followed that guidelines, that are to be mentioned in long form audit report under credit risk areas. Because the LFIR, if at all you take into consideration, one is on credit risk, second one is on operation risk. Here the market risk will not arise. Market risk is related to the Treasury Department. So up to 5 o'clock, I will discuss about the important areas, and I will share this PPT to the committee also. They will circulate to the participants. Now coming to what are the latest developments that are happening. First of all, I wish you all the best for the new financial year 2025 and 2026. And the present challenges in the bank, if you go through the banking, non-performing assets are increasing. NPS, mounting NPS. One side business is growing, second side at the same time NPS are also growing. And the violation, particularly the KYC norms or money laundering issues are also there. And that's why the shell companies are also increasing. Particularly if you see the current accounts, some of the current accounts the clients are opening, but in the true picture, there is no business activity, no service activity. If at all you see 4 years back, nearly 40,000 they have identified by the Minister of Corporate Affairs, and they asked the banks to verify the current accounts. Whenever the banks are giving opening the current accounts, they don't visit to the client's place, particularly in case of current accounts. That's why they are opening. I myself visited 5 accounts verified. Out of that, 1 account is a shell company. That company is in particularly apartment, 2-bedroom portion room. Outside, 1 private limited company is there. But I checked with the security. No, sir, every month, 2 days, they will come and chit chat and they will go. The company is not having a production, the company is not providing any services, but a crores of rupees turnover is happening. So, not only this one, increase in frauds, particularly the loans and advances. If you see the RBI, particularly RBI circular, most of the loans turn into the frauds, particularly in working capital loans, that is cash credit accounts. Because it is a running account, the borrower's choice. In case of term loan, the bank will give the amount directly to the supplier to supply the equipment. But in case of working capital, borrower choice. That's why diversion of funds or misutilization of funds are more. And then today, everybody knows about the cyber security, cyber frauds. That is also happening. Every day we are receiving phones and SMS links, all these things. But this is a big challenge for the banks. And a liquidity problem. The liquidity problem is arising on account of asset liabilities mismatch. And if the borrowers are timely paid, there is no problem to the bank. If at all they delay, then if depositors are wants to withdraw the funds, bank is out of funds in certain cases. That's why they are going for open market operations and they are borrowing interbank call money market. All these things are there. And the spreads are also thinning. Today, the depositors are asking more interest. At the same time, borrowers are asking less interest. So, thereby, today, on account of liquidity problem, banks are offering a higher rate of interest, but at the same time, advances, they have not increased the rate of interest. Thereby, the yield on advances minus cost of deposit, that is called spread. The spread is thinning. One side, the spread is thinning. Second side, the provisions are more in NPS. Third side, particularly the cyber frauds are increasing. All these things are the challenges to the bank. And presently, the banking sector, they are giving more focus on retail advances. So if at all you are going for bank audit, definitely you have to verify the housing loan, car loan, education loan, or personal loan, or MSME loans like. Because a small ticket size, that is the probability of NPAs are less. That's why the banks are give more focus on retail advance and MSME loans and digital loans, the pre-approved loans. Today, the fintech companies are increasing. The fintech companies are also giving the pre-approved loans. That's why that is also a big problem for the bank. And the selling of third-party products. Banks are also selling third-party products like life insurance, general insurance, health insurance, etc., etc., etc. There be some focus or attention on the systems and procedures that is also missing at the branch level, that is called operation level. Now, the banks are started the business rule engines. Earlier, to verify the credit worthiness of the borrower, lot of paperwork is there. The authenticity of a paperwork is also question mark. So today the BREs are developed. BREs means business rule engines. If at all the business rule engine is there, if at all minimum input data is given about the customer, then it travels all the servers and get that information and gives a picture about the borrower, whether to sanction or not to sanction. If it all not to sanction, what are the irregularities? All these things are there in the business rule engines. So today the banking industry is adopting the BREs. My bank is also adopting a BRE, particularly for small loans. And in a complex world of banking, precision and consistency is very, very required. Because I am using the public funds. I am the trustee for the public funds. Precision and consistency is required. If at all precision, accuracy is not there, left and right I am giving loans, then the loans will turn into bad later on. That's why the business rule engines are play a vital role. Being an auditor, you have to audit the business rule engines, how the data is occurring, how the data is extracting, all these things. And how the business rule engine, it is catching the other servers and the valuable or sensitive information of the borrower is extracting. All these things you should know. Everybody is talking about AI. First of all, you should masterize what is meant by AI, what is meant by machine learning, what is meant by blockchain technology, what is meant by application program interface, what is meant by cloud computing. If at all you are masterized in that area, definitely it is a cakewalk for you. Rule engines in the essence of the software systems. Rule engine is not a machine. It is like a software only. Designed automatic decision-making process by applying the predefined rules. Suppose the CIBIL report, if at all once the 600 less is there, no sanction. Or 600 above is there, sanction. Like that, the decision-making trees are there in the business rule engines, applying the predefined rules and the logical conditions. So that's why instead of a credit officer is taking the decisions by seeing the patterns and all these things, the consistency and the accuracy is possible in the business rule engines. These rules act as guiding principles to enable bank to navigate the web of financial operations. Today, the process of the credit management, the steps is minimized drastically. Paperwork is the paper is minimized, ensuring compliance and efficiency and reliability is there while using the business rule engines. If you see the business rule engines in the market, particularly the software companies that are providing, particularly credit scoring engines are there, fraud detection engines are there, compliance rule engines are there, and risk management engines are there, anti-money laundering engines are there, and customer interaction engines are there, and loan originating rule engines are there, accounting rule engines are also available. Some of the banks already purchased and they are linked to the core banking system also. But in the loan approval underwriting process with the help of a business rule engine, first, the customer application is submitted online. Immediately, data collection. What are the data? Personal details, financial history, employment records, income statements, and the purpose of the loan all are to be keyed properly. Then data is verified by the business rule engine. And it accesses the CIBIL rating and the credit assessment and sometimes it travels to the servers of the other banks via the Reserve Bank of India. Two NBFCs are identified, and through that we will access the other bank servers. Whether the same Aadhaar number or PAN number card details borrowers are availed any loan with the other banks, that information is also extracted by the business rule engines and income financial analysis. The engine will finalize the end-to-end and the collateral security assessment. Whatever the collateral security offered, then it goes to the particularly the sub-registrar office, and what are the encumbrances are there, whether the property title deed is a clear or any issues are there, and the regulatory compliance and the risk evaluation. All these things are to be done by the particularly the business rule engines. And definitely once all the data is collected, the decision making process. And once the borrower loan is approved or to be rejected or further review, the decision will be given by the within 1 hour. Borrower need not travel too many times to the bank branches. And the customer notification, once he is eligible, automatically one message will go to the your loan application approved for this much amount, or your loan application is rejected, or your loan is reviewed, further review for these are subject to submission of the document like that. And once the automatically documents are to be created, print out, and the disbursement will happen automatically. The core banking system also, it is populated data, and the account will be open like pre-approved loans, and the post-approval monitoring is also automation. All these things are happening through the business ruling in a dynamic and highly regulated world of banking. The rule engines have emerged indispensable tool for automating process, ensuring compliances, delivering exceptional customer experience. All these things are happening. So in the coming days, if at all you want to do the bank audit, no paper, nothing is available. All are in RAM, random access memory. And how the system is processing the data, whether it is correctly processing or not, and what are the checks and balances are there, all are to be. That's why you have to masterize the system, particularly the business rule engines, etc. Now, even earlier, we used to take the balance sheets, turnover. Some other people, they are telling that some of the companies, they are preparing 3 balance sheet. One is for audit purpose, the particular ROC purpose. Second one is a tax purpose. Third one is to get the loan from the financial institution. That's why in Union Budget 2024-25, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman announced don't process the loans through financial statements. It is obsolete. It is not giving accurate result. Presently, the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, July 23rd, the new credit assessment model for MSME, where the banks assess themselves based on digital footprint of the borrower and not on the balance sheet. This is a communication that is disseminated in the Parliament House. So the digital footprints, if at all I discussed all these things, a lot of time it will take, but our objective is a bank audit only. We will discuss. Assessment of loan based on the digital footprints of the borrower, businesses, and not on their balance sheet. Today, almost all the digital footprints, some softwares are developed by the banks. Through digital footprints only, we are accessing the income tax website, we are accessing the GST website, we are accessing the particularly scoring marks, particularly credit scoring marks, etc., etc. Innovative information technology products and solutions, data aggregation, GST analysis tool is also there. Today, whatever the papers they are submitting, that we don't require. Directly, we will access the GST or the website and through that GST number, how many statements submitted, what is the purchases, what is the sales, what is the GST paid, how much to be paid, all particulars are available with the help of digital footprints. Bank statement analysis tool is also there. I need not go to the other bank to get the full information, print out of the account statement. Through the digital footprints, I can get the full information, the transactions of the accounts also. Financial statement analysis, the GST, particularly the digital footprints, access the ROC website, and whatever the financial statement they submitted, all the particulars it will collect and give the information, and credit monitoring, ITR, 26 AS analysis tool, all these things are the various sub parts of the digital footprints. Now, today's topic is on bank audit, the credit risk areas. Once the credit risk is increasing, particularly once the loan is turned into non-performing, we have to provide the provision. We have to stop the rate of interest calculation for the account. At the same time, we have to provide additional capital, that is called capital adequacy ratio or capital to risk assets ratio. All these side effects are there. Today, on account of the volumes of the business and the communication gaps, knowledge gaps, still small loans also, the branch staff, some missings are there. The purpose of the statutory audit is to find out that missings and mention in the long form audit reports. So the credit risk areas, now I'm touching only the retail advances, not big loans. Small scale 3 or scale 4 branch. Scale 3 means middle management, 3 or 4 means senior management. All these branches are small loans. Housing loan, car loan, education loan, personal loan, MSME, term loan, working capital loan, etc., or letters of credit in forex branches or bank guarantees, etc. Once you go through this one, then you will get a fair idea what are the items to be, what are the information to be included in the long form audit report. LFRO is the board is required this much knowledge gaps, this much risk, this much operational risk is there. People are not following means the credit risk will increase, then non-performing assets are increasing. Once I have not taken the document for the loan given by me, then how I will recover the loan? If at all I have taken the document, wrong document, if the borrower is not paying, how I will recover the loan? And if at all adequate margins stipulated by the bank, if at all I have not followed, how the involvement of the borrower in that the activity is there? All these things, small things, but play a vital role in increasing the credit risk of the bank. Now, in every loan, particularly a small loan to corporate loan, that is a micro loan to corporate loan, the credit process is split into 3 stages. Stage 1, pre-sanction. Stage 2, sanction. Stage 3, post-sanction. Once the loan, before loan, what are the formalities to be completed by the bank branches or the credit officer? Once all are completed, then the loan proposal will go to the sanctioning authority for sanction. What are the areas to be looked into by the sanctioning authority? Once the loan is sanctioned, the loan is to be dispersed by taking the documentation of properly stamped, and whatever the rest of the thing is a third stage, that is to be followed. In these 3 stages, if at all any lacuna, if at all any missings are there, the credit risk of the bank will increase. What are the small items I will discuss up to 5 o'clock? Step 1, the pre-sanction process. The pre-sanction process. Once I receive the proposal, what I have to do as a banker? The auditor also to be verified the same, whether the bank guidelines are fulfilled by the bank branches or not. Bank guidelines for processing the loan is followed by the, for this, there is no international standards. There is no accounting standards. All are simple. It is not a rocket science also. Once the loan application is received, it is to be entered in a loan received and disposal list, whether they are maintaining or not verified. Once the loan application is received, along with the loan application, all KYC documents are to be enclosed. The KYC documents are to be verified with originals and certified by the officer. If at all a Xerox copy of a PAN card is enclosed, and can I have the PAN card original and verify that one and sign by the officer? If at all papers are not signed by the officer, then the KYC is not properly handled. And particularly in case of a PAN card is not there, Form 60 and 61 to be obtained. And that's why the simple areas. If at all I have not followed, then the credit risk will increase. In case of companies, particularly the memorandum of association, the articles of association, the certificate of registration with the ROC, the board resolution or GST number, PAN, whatever it is there, all are to be enclosed with the application form. If not, that is not properly handled by the branch. If at all any lacuna missings are there mentioned, some of the applications, these are not there. For example, account number 1, you need not verify all the randomly because the time given by the bank is only 3 days or 4 days or at the most 6 days. And obtain KYC from all the members, particularly self-help group is said. A group, a minimum size is 10, maximum is 20. 20 people KYC is required. If you see some of the branches, they will take only the head of the self-help group. That is not correct. Even KCC, also Kisan Credit Card. Today, the Kisan Credit Card also borrowers a big ticket size is there. Loan size is a big one. And only agriculture, there is no exemption. There is no exemption. Every citizen of the country, they should have the, particularly the Aadhaar card. If PAN card is not there, take that one. That is required. Otherwise, in case the turn into non-performing, how to catch hold of the particular borrower without the KYC guidelines? And the opinion report. Whenever the loans are given by the bank, particularly the borrower or the guarantor, we have to arrive whether he is a worthy person or not, credit worthy person or not, whether he is a tangible net worth is there or not. What is a tangible net worth? Net worth minus intangible assets. Suppose I have my deposits are 10 lakhs, my loans are 6 lakhs, my tangible net worth is 4 lakhs. So whenever the opinion report is compiled by the operating staff, the proofs are also to be enclosed. Simply, I will tell 2 crores agriculture land is there, 10 crores that another property is there. If at all I mentioned and signed, that is not valid. 5 crores or 10 crores, whatever the property is there, Xerox copies are to be enclosed. That is to be certified by the borrower. Obtain the copies of the documentary evidence that is required. Even opinion reports or net worth statements, most of them are blank, only borrower name, last that particular signature, no enclosures or nothing. In that case, when these signatures are available in main document, application is also, name is available. What is the purpose of taking the opinion report? Some purpose, some logic, some rationale is there. Scrutiny of CIBIL report. Today, if you take the total population, eligible population, 20% of the population is not eligible for bank loans. Why? They are defaulted with so many, they have availed loans and not they paid that amount. Today, even banks, while recruitment also, minimum 650 or 700 score is required. If at all the employee who is going to be recruited, if at all he is defaulted with other bank, if at all I take up that particular employee, definitely some wrong things will happen in the bank. Even bank recruitment also CIBIL report is compulsory. Some other people, they are taking CIBIL report and simply they are attaching, they are not analyzing. In CIBIL, credit card compromise or write off, if at all it is there, he is not eligible. Once he has taken a credit card and he is defaulted or compromised, if it of 5 lakhs is there, 2 lakhs compromised, 3 lakhs he has not paid. That type of a borrower I don't require. So that the scrutiny of that comments in the appraisal, CIBIL report, sometimes one borrower is there. The borrower has taken the particular credit card, but not abide. But every year, the monthly yearly charges, maintenance charges, whatever the charges they have levied and accumulated. If that is waived, some reason is there. For that, we have to get the higher permission. On account of this one only, the CIBIL rating is decreased. So kindly permit us to sanction the loan. That type of the deviation approval is also required. And today, all frauds are to be registered with the Reserve Bank of India. Whenever I am giving a loan, I have to verify the particular the Reserve Bank of India survey, like a CIBIL. If at all this name is there in the particular registry, then we should not give. So whatever the minimum the information, particularly PAN or Aadhaar card or whatever the information, if at all it is there, it is no matching details means he is eligible. If at all matching details are there, definitely in that particular registry, his name is there means he is not eligible. So this is also to be taken and kept along with the documents. If that is not verified, one fraudulent person taken the loan, then chances are bleak that a person will not pay the amount. Once he is a fraudulent nature, the character is the wrong character, how he will repay the loan taken by the bank? Because as a banker, I am trustee for the public deposits. And the pre-sanction service. Whenever the banks are giving loan, they will visit to the borrower's unit, inquire, or individuals' houses, inquire whether that Mr. Prasad is located in that place or not, surrounding left or right, they will verify. And always meaning, some people they don't visit, simply name, signature, that's all. The meaningful pre-sanction survey, whether they have visited, they inquired left side, right side house, what is the person name, left side house, what is the person name. Sometimes the bank is also outsourcing this activity, particularly some of the professionals, they are taking this agencies for the pre-sanction also. In that case, the bank has to verify once or twice. Pre-sanction survey done by the outsourcer person should be scrutinized by the bank official. And the landmarks. Suppose I have visited that the building is my building, the landmarks. Later on, if at all these things are mentioned, in case the loan is turning to bad, I have to auction that one. Once I have at that time, if all particulars are available, instantly I can execute the auction also. Otherwise, searching the property today is very difficult because the space is constrained. That's why next to next houses are constructed. So the landmark of the property details to be properly mentioned during pre-sanction survey report of compilation. Update title investigation. Today, Xerox copies of the title deeds are increasing. Colored Xerox. Colored Xerox. The colored Xerox is increasing. If at all colored and original or side by side is there, you believe only colored, not the original. That type of printing technology is developed. So the title investigation, whenever the property, either land or building or any other property given by the borrower for the collateral security of the loan, bank will send to the empaneled advocate to verify the title deeds. Along with the title deeds today, annexure E also we are taking. What is annexure? It is notarized. Suppose if affidavit not there for that particular TIR, you mention in NFER. Some of the loans, annexure E is also missing, which is a prerequisite for sanctioning of the loan. Letter of engagement. Some of the advocates later on, I have not given the report like that. Some problems are arising. Simply, we should not give the document, give the report like that. And whenever the engagement letter is given by the bank, he should acknowledge, and the copy is also attached with the loan documents. If at all it is a vernacular language, that is a local language, it is a Telugu, then the translation is also required. Otherwise, some document, it will be in Hindi or Urdu or Malayalam or Kannada, like that different languages are there. Do physical verification of the property mortgage to the bank, recorded each disbursement. That's why this is also pre-sanction survey. Obtain encumbrance certificate. Whenever the property given by the borrower, we have to take the encumbrance for 13 years from the sub-registrar office. Because the mortgage period of limitation is 12 years. We will take 1 year extra. So, in encumbrance, any loans are there, the documents are not valid for taken as a equitable mortgage and loss to transaction. Whenever the values are there, particularly I am valuing that property, the latest transaction, how much in that particular survey number, that is also to be mentioned. Otherwise, what is the market value or government value? That I have to compare, and finally I have to arrive a conclusion as a banker. And a selfie, some places, the selfie is also required, that photography is also to be attached. Otherwise, where the property, suppose the land is there, landmarks are required, or if it all adjacent to the land, one factory is there, factory and the land in between, then photography is required. So that in future, if at all the bank wants to sell that property, the clear-cut identification marks are available. In case of variation 20% more than the valuation proposed, value, government value, justification is required. Government value 100 rupees. Valuer is given 150 rupees. Today, the valuers are also given bubble rates because they have to satisfy the borrower. Some cases, very few cases, the borrowers and valuers are colluded. And they are giving high rates. In that case, this type of the 20% more than the government, why it is higher? Because the banks are taking that value and they are giving more loan. To avoid that one, this is also to be verified. Copy of the letter of engagement of the valuer. We have to give the letter to value and take the acknowledgement. That letter also to be along with the documents. Obtain the credit information report. Today, the budget competition is increasing. Banks are taking loans from other banks. That is called takeover loans. Bulk. But whenever other banks, if at all it is a non-performing asset, the same, if at all I taken that loan, then there is no use. That's why the credit information reported to be obtained from the other bank before taking over the loan. Not only that one, 12 months account statement is also required. And the KYC document in respect of audit firm. Today, borrower, I am asking borrower, audited financial statement. Whether that X or Y or Z auditor signed or not, I don't know. That signatures are not available with me. So that's why, in case particularly KYC documents are insisted by the banks about the auditor, about the certificate, or about the Aadhaar card, or whatever the KYC documents that are stipulated by the bank, that is to be obtained. Otherwise, if at all somebody is signed and giving signature, whether he is an auditor, whether he is a chartered accountant or not, nobody knows, because all signatures of the chartered accountants are not circulated to the bank. So that's why the KYC is also required for the audit firm. One-time letter of authorization. Particularly today, banks are accessing the borrower's information from the income tax website and the GST website. For that, tomorrow, why you have they opened my the account like that, they will argue. To avoid that one-time letter of authorization applied from the borrower or the guarantor. In case the guarantor is given for accessing information of income tax or GST and other authorities. Sanction. Once all the papers are taken, then that bunch I have to send to the sanctioning authority. Once the sanctioning authority is there, this is called the second stage of the particular credit process or credit management. The process is particularly the delegation of powers sanctioned by the official within the powers. Suppose I take, for example, I am the officer of the bank or AGM of the bank. My loan, the financial power is 1 crore housing loan. If at all I sanctioned 1 crore 1,000, it is beyond my power. It is called ultra virus. I should not sanction. I should sanction up to the powers defined by the bank. Some of the branches, they are sanctioning beyond their powers. How to get this information? By the auditors. The delegation of financial power books. The category of the branch and the category of the housing loan. What is the delegation? Car loan, what is the delegation? Education, personal loan, MSME loan, like that. The banks are every year, the delegation of powers, the latest book is available at the branch. So the branches should not sanction beyond their powers. And if at all some exigencies are there, sometimes urgent, then they will get the concurrence from the higher up. So this is only 10,000 higher. If at all you are going to control or post approval, then I will sanction. So the next higher authority, they accepted, but immediately after the disbursement, the next higher the authority submit and get the approval from them. That letter is required. Submit the control form. Whatever the loans are sanctioned by the bank officials, up to their level, they have to send a synopsis of the loan to the higher-ups in duplicate. And the higher-ups verify and they will control. Then that is the completion of the loan process. If at all he is not controlled, if at all he mentioned why you have not taken this means again that is to be obtained, then only the loan to be disbursed. Till such time he has to not to disperse the loan. Get a hard copy of all control reports. Returns, higher authority, branch kept with the document. Whatever the control forms are there, along with the documents. Print out of all control. Sometimes today control is also online. And they will say the branch will mention the details the approved by the controllers through online only. If it all online is there, well and good, no problem. And whether it is approved or not. And if at all any printout is there, only 1 page or 2 pages, printout is there, take the printout and put it along with the documents. Reply queries for the controlling higher authority marked on the control reports. Sometimes the controller will ask, no, this security you have taken. Additionally, you take one more security worth of 2 crores means the the branch has to take the additional security. Then only the control is properly completed. And the acknowledgement of the key fact statement. To do the key fact statement. Once the key fact statement is seen by the auditor, the total picture is available. That is called the terms and conditions letter or the opinion or the arrangement letter, like that. All steps. And the key factor statement, terms and conditions is a document summarize the main details of the loan. It provides by the banks and other lenders. The KFS is designed to help the borrower informed the financial decision. It is giving a full picture. That's why normally in most of the banks, the internal auditors, first they will go to the arrangement letter or terms and conditions letter or the key factor statement. If they go through that one, the total picture of that particular loan is mentioned in that key factor statement or arrangement letter or the terms and conditions letter. The last stage is the post sanctions process. This is the third stage. This is the third stage. What is the third stage? Whatever the documents you have taken, all particulars are to be entered in the core banking system. Otherwise, today, the banks are paperless banking, the system-driven banking. So the time of sanction, renewable limits, all, if at all I have not given limit in the loan, how much the loan is to be dispersed. So all vital information that is to be entered into the core banking system, whether it is a limit or address or PAN card or Aadhaar card or the company registration or whatever the stock statement, all particulars are to be entered in the core banking system, particularly to arrive the provisions by the system perfectly, that is secured or unsecured. For that purpose also, the value of the primary security, the value of the collateral security, the insurance policy particulars, the revival letters, all particulars are to be entered in the system. Otherwise, the Basel II or Basel III norms, the system will not function. If at all left blank. Generate customer ID of co-applicant, guarantor, corporate guarantor, link the loan account. Suppose one loan is there, the IDs are to be created for each and every individual. These IDs are to be linked to the primary borrower. If at all the borrower is borrower, co-borrower, and guarantor is there, all are to be linked. Ensure update the KYC beneficiary of the owner, link the customer ID of the principal borrower, take the printout of the customer ID, link it to the screen. So sometimes for easy identification, because once you open and close the core banking system, lot of time it will take. So that's why these screens are half page or 1 page is there. If it are attached, straight away the process will be completed smoothly within a short span of time. Take the printout of the CBS and save the screenshot, customer ID, short inquiry, all these things. Not only that one, CERSAI. CERSAI is under Surface Act 2002. Because here, that is nearly 10 years back, the Reserve Bank of India issued one circular. One borrower availed 27 loans on same property. At that time, the CERSAI function is not up to the mark. Today, if at all you require 10 copies of your sale deed, they will take 1,000 or 2,000, the sub-register, 10 copies or 20 copies, whatever you require, they will give. The borrower will, original one bank, second, third, like that. At that time, connectivity among the banks is not there. The connectivity among the banks is CERSAI on. Suppose if at all I have taken a loan, and the second property I am approaching another bank, immediately the particulars are entered into the CERSAI. Then the message, already this property is mortgaged to XYZ bank, like that. That's a CERSAI ID, asset ID, or sometimes the security interest ID, equitable mortgage, Next, registration copy. Registration copy means whatever the vehicles are there, registration copy or insurance copy or insurance particulars or inspection of the particular unit, all are to be entered into the CBS core banking system. Update the document execution register. Once all documents are taken, all are to be account wise. I have to enter these. Thereby, the auditor's smooth function will happen. Oh, if it are entered loan, all are there or not. If it are lacuna is there, immediately whatever the missings are there, he will enter in his report. Ensure review and the renewal of the cash credit or working capital or the overdraft or the Kisan credit card. The Kisan credit card or overdraft or working capital loan or the cash credit, the maximum period is 12 months. Sometimes if at all a working capital term loan, that is a different issue. But here, only 12 months. After 12 months, that is to be renewed. Suppose at the time of giving the loan, all sales are to be routed through the account, all purchases are to be routed through the account. You have to submit the stock statement monthly. All these things are not followed by the borrower. Then after 1 year, I don't renew that one. I will call up the advance. No, you have to pay the bank because you have not adhered the terms and the conditions of the bank. And update the drawing power, monthly stock statement. Out of the stock statement, whatever the stock is there, remove that one. Or slow moving stock, remove that one. Whatever the credit purchases are there, remove that one. After that, whatever the bank margin is there, they deduct that one. Remaining is the drawing power subject to the limit. So this is the renewal date, whatever the stock statement or drawing power, that is also to be updated in the core banking system. And fresh title investigation report every 3 years. Today the property values are changing. And dynamic one, not a static one. So that's why every 3 years, whatever the earlier the collateral security document valuation or the legal opinion is there, again that is to be the title investigation every 3 years. Not only that one, if at all the account turn into non-performing asset, then immediately that is to be verified. Why? Because some of the borrowers, they will take the duplicates and sell the property to others also. And fresh valuation every 3 years in case of eligibility. Full chain of the reversals. Particularly the reversals. Reversal letter means acknowledgement of debt. Acknowledgement of debt means limitation act section 18 and 19. Section 18 and 19. So once the loan is taken after 3 years, the documents are getting time barred subject to certain conditions. If a term loan is there, 30 years of housing loan is there, every month promptly paying, no need to obtain because it is an acknowledgement of debt. Every month he is paying means is part payment of the debt. Part payment of the debt from the part payment to 3 years it will continue. Once it is stopped, within 3 years, we have to take the reversal letter. And particularly the Kisan credit card or the working capital loans, the reversal letters are to be taken. Why? Because the amounts may be paid by the suppliers and purchases NEFT RTGS will happen. So that's why it is better to take a reversal. The reversal is also in a seriatim and obtain the annual balance. So 31st March every year, in case of overdrafts or particularly the working capital loans, the closing balance, the confirmation is also to be obtained. And ensure copy of the document executed by the borrower delivered against. Today, the best practice is, that is earlier also it is there, but most of the banks, they are not following. Whatever the documents executed by the borrower, a Xerox copy to be provided. Otherwise, he is in dark. What documents he has signed and all these things. So once the Xerox copy is given, the letter is also to be uploaded. Tomorrow, so whatever the signatures, they forced me to get the signatures like that, they will argue in different courts. and proper stamp duty. Every loan document is properly stamped because a bank from time to time they will give the directions to the branch. For this cash credit agreement, this is a stamp duty. For mortgage agreement, this is a stamp duty. For guarantee agreement, this is a stamp duty. For equitable mortgage, this is a stamp duty. Law department, whenever changes are there, they will circulate to all the branches the revised stamp duty. The stamp duty is the revenue of the state government. From time to time, to increase the revenue, they will increase the stamp duty. Accordingly, the branches, once the proper stamp duty is not affixed on the document, it is not valid in the court of law. Some courts, they will admit the case, but subject to the difference between the original stamp and affixed stamp, whatever the difference is, 10 times or 20 times, and subject to maximum for this month, like that, some conditions are there. So that's why all documents are to be properly stamped, and never keep the document incomplete. So some of the documents, on account of a hurry, on account of a volume, some branches they may not fill up the P. Sivarama Prasad, the last signature. The amount is not filled. Words and figures are not filled. Whatever the purpose of the loan not filled, later on they filled. Once they later on they filled, it is called material operation. Court will not agree. So if it all left blank is there, mention in LFR and LTA letter. Some other people, the education is not there. Once education is not there, for that additional the document to be obtained. So that for that witness is also required. Otherwise, no, sir, I don't know. They have taken my finger and they have affixed on different documents. So that's why thumb impression borrowers, this is whether a thumb impression is there, that letter is there or not. That is called the LTI letter. Particularly today, retail advances are increasing. The housing loan, the car loan, the personal loans. Banks are also safety side. They are taking post-dated checks. The post-dated checks they will take and the signature of the borrower. These post-dated checks in joint custody, the bank and the joint, the two officers. So the PDCs are always kept in joint custody. And joint custody means here that a borrower, he has to they enter into that one, and the pay to be filled with account number and bank name. Otherwise, if at all it is misplaced, some other person may encash, probability is there. And the CERSI, whenever the CERSI report is taken, that is also memorandum of deposits confirmation. Whenever your bank is creating equitable mortgage, that facility is given by the bank to the banks by the Government of India under Transfer of Property Act. Transfer of Property Act. So that's why that is once the deposit, the title deeds are given by the borrower, and one confirmation letter. The confirmation letter he has to send from his residence by speed post or wrist post to the bank. Then only the process will be completed. Otherwise, the process is not completed. Recited details, whatever the property details are there, while entering into the equitable mortgage register, all the property data and details are to be properly entered. And the vehicle registration, Vahan NIC is also there, that is to be entered. Earlier, that is a CERSI, this is to be entered, that is discontinued. Once Vahan NIC interlinkage is there, that's why that is enough. And within 30 days. Next, whenever we are giving a vehicle loans, we will take RTO forms like 20, 29, 30, 34 numbers. All states this is common. This is signed by the borrower. Once the borrower is not paid, we will seize the vehicle and sell into the market. Whatever the sale deed, all the sale of that vehicle, that forms are 20 or 29, 30, 34. We will fill it up and give it to the person. He will get the registration with the regional transport officer. Next, particularly Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima, that is insurance is must for all. Otherwise, if crops are damaged on account of natural calamities, the loans are turned into non-performing. Like that, crops are cultivated for the purpose of cropping pattern, that is scale of finance. Even you come across most of the loans are KCC, Kisan Credit Card. Kisan Credit Card, the credit appraisal is based on scale of finance. It differs from district to district, state to state, crop to crop. So this is developed by the district technical department, and they will advise to district, particularly the district level bankers committee is there, or state level bankers committee. They will advise to all the banks in that particular state or district like that. So accordingly, whether the scale of finance, paddy, kharif, 1 acre, how much to they like that 10 acres means multiple by 10. That's so simple. Once the scale of finance includes all maintenance expenses, crop insurance, personal accident. Today, the Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana is compulsory. That is 20 rupees, the 2 lakhs. If at all it is agriculture is fall down from the tree, or snake bite is there, or any thunderstorms is there, or electric shock is there, if it all died, the insurance claim will come. That is called Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana. That is mandatory. Disburse maximum. Suppose one loan is a maximum 2 lakhs means not beyond 2 lakhs, and do post inspection within. Whenever any loan, term loan, suppose I have given tractor loan or vehicle loan, within 7 days, whether the tractor or car or whatever it is there, purchased or not, that is to be verified. That is called a post-sanction report. That report is there or not. And the periodical inspection, particularly companies where the working capital loans are there. Monthly, the credit officers have to visit, verify the stocks with the help of stock register, and whatever, whether it is functioning or not, whatever is observations that is mentioned in the unit verification report. Meaningful observation, activity levels, level of stocks, realization of book dates, filing of stocks, all these things are post-sanction survey report. And a record of the inspection schedule. Whatever at the time of giving the loan, the record of a schedule every month, the dates are also mentioned. That is to be approved by the official. And immediately that screenshot also to be taken and kept with the document. And the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, particularly the Sishu or Tarun or Kishore is there. Whatever the limits are there, whether limits are exceeded or not, whatever the terms and the conditions of that loan, all are easy to learn, whether the branch is following that one or not. Cover the accounts open, stand up India, or particularly the CGF, MU, different government sponsor scheme. And Mudra Yojana, cover all these things are there. And SME loans, particularly CGT MSME, that is also to be covered. Every year they have to pay the premium, and the premium particulars to be tagged. In case the loan is turned into bad, the claim will come. So if all are available in the particular loan file, definitely it is easy to get the claim. And the premium payment and the NPS within the stipulated, once it is turned into a non-performing, we have to make the claim, get the claim. Correctness of the project report, whatever the project report is there, whether it is a MSME or any other, the project report details are also to be entered into the CBS, and the CBS screenshot are also to be they taken and kept with the document. And a drawing power, particularly every year, but every month, the stock statement, according to stock statement, a drawing power arrived. This drawing power to be mentioned in the CBS. And whenever the stock statements are received, branch stamps have to be affixed, whether delay in submission of the stock statement or not. Once the delay is more than 6 months, the account is to be treated as a non-performing asset. Next, whenever the banks are taking any particularly security, in case of title deeds or gold ornaments or NSS or Kisan Vikas Patra or Indra Vikas Patra or insurance policies or undated PDCs, the acknowledgement going to be given to the borrower. And ensure the correct monitoring. Suppose I take, for example, one housing loan is given. Construction period is 1 year. After 1 year only the repayment term. The 1 year is called moratorium period. After that only the repayment will start. If at all after 6 months I have put, then automatically seventh month, if at all the borrower is unable to pay, then the account will turn into non-performing. That's why the correct moratorium to be mentioned CBS as well as in the documents also. Submit excess drawings. Sometimes the industries they will require a sudden demand for their product. They will ask some 10% of the existing limit. And immediately the branch has to submit to the higher ups and get the permission. And a quarterly review. Once the accounts are every month, not quarterly today, even daily also, the non-performing assets or advance under collection accounts, that is continuous monitoring. And particularly whenever the accounts, live accounts are transferred to recall debts, recall debts is a non-performing asset, then the bank approval is also required. These recall debts, they will file under DRT or NCLT like that under IBC. And the surface details, particularly whenever the non-performing assets are there, once the bank is proceeding towards surface 2002, whenever they are issuing 13.2 or 13.4, the particularly the sale notice or positions and certificate, position notice, all these things are to be properly available in the loan document. And the shoot filed, whenever the shoots are filed with the debt recovery tribunal or NCLT under IBC, all particulars are available in the loan documents. And stress assessment. Sometimes today what is happening, once the loan is turned into bad, the account will move from the branch to stress asset. And if that is there, the acknowledgement and all these things are to be taken. Ensure to obtain consent of the borrower for insurance. Borrower, whenever the bank is doing insurance on behalf of the borrower for the assets of the borrower, then consent is to be taken. That is next today, that a National E-Governance Services Limited is there. That is called information utility. This is originated under section 215 of IBC. All bank documents 1 lakh and above are digitalized under e-governance. So that's why, particularly every June, the NESL, information utility, is sorted. Even all banks, their documents are uploaded in tomorrow, if at all any loan turn into bad, the banks need not submit a document to the DRT or NCLT. All the NCLT and the DRT linkage is there. They will verify from the NCLT or DRT and they will admit the case without submission of the document by the branches. Only the required fees to be mentioned. Received the copy of the lock schedule of the applicable charges, borrower against, all these things are there. Arrangement letter signed by the borrower. Once the loan is given, terms and conditions are there. The another name is called arrangement letter. This is to be signed by both borrower. In case guarantee is a guarantor also. And today, the prudential norms. Some of the borrowers say, no, sir, I don't know about a 90 days concept. I don't know about a renewal. If renewal is not happened, after certain days, it will turn into non-performing asset. After not producing the stock statements for a period, it will turn into, I don't know. That's why even prudential norms, whatever the basics are there, 1 page letter that is to be addressed and get it signed. Tomorrow, he will not object this type of notice. And manual interest adjustments. Today, some manual NPA status change. Some of the branches, manual interest adjustments are also. Once manual adjustments and NPA status, in almost all banks that is barred, in still some banks it is there. Once any change of rate of interest 12 to 10 or 12 to 14 or NPA, substandard to standard or doubtful to standard, if at all I change it manually, on the next day, it will come under exceptional report. and ensure no objection in existing bank declaration, no credit facilities other than bank from current account opening customers. Whenever the particularly we are taking a takeover advance, this certificate is also required. In case of companies, all these things are to be taken. Certificate of incorporation, memorandum, and all these things are to be taken as a KYC document for the corporates. In case of partnership or partnership deed and all these things. In case of trustees account, trustees accounts are a dangerous account. And even Reserve Bank of India, that is categorized as high risk category. KYC, low, medium, high. Trustee accounts are high risk category. Once the account is opened, whether categorization is a high risk mentioned or not. If at all the branch is mentioned low risk for trustees, it is against the Reserve Bank of India guidelines. So trustees accounts are dangerous account. That's why Reserve Bank of India also clearly and categorically told the trustees are comes under category high risk. Upfront fees are not required. Whatever the service charges are there, processing charges, some of the branches they are not required. If that is the case, you mention in a memorandum of changes and interest rate to be reset as per the CRA, credit risk assessment. Once the loan is risk is increasing, rate of interest to be increased. That is a manual intervention is required. If the branch is not done, even though the account is irregular, rate of interest is not changed, then the branch is collecting less rate of interest. The MOC, memorandum of changes to be mentioned. Today, some of the banks, left and right gold loans, single borrower they are giving. It is maybe the 5 or 10, some banks are 20, whatever the threshold limit is stipulated by the bank, you have to take into consideration. Why? Because agriculture segment loans are low rate of interest, concessional rate of interest, priority sector advance. If at all they are getting without agriculture activity, if they are getting loans at a lower rate of interest, that is also wrong. Subsidy credited to other linked account. Once the government schemes are there, subsidy to be credited to that account only, not to the other account. That is also to be mentioned in the LFR. Loan accounts are to be opened and closed within 2 months, 3 months. That is also that one report is also generated by the system. In some banks, loan open and closed within 3 months. One report is there. If you verify the report, why the loan account opened and closed? If you go into details, then if the reason is okay, no problem. If reason is not correct, then you have to mention. And debit transactions of NPA account. NPA account, nobody is closely following. Once the borrower is regular, he don't bother about the outstandings. So sometimes debits may be originated and credit may be given to other accounts. Sudden growth of 10% in LCs and BJs, some branches, LCs and BJs, they are increasing like anything. Immediately you have to write to the location. If you see the 12 months, month, 1 month, second month, third month, if a lot of growth is there, then detailed verification is very much required in LCs and BJs, and particularly rural branches. Where rural and semi-urban branches, the volume of the transactions are very less, but the growth levels are more, means we have to suspect. And multiple debits in term loan. And term loan, whenever debits are there, that is to be given to the supplier to purchase the equipment. But if it all debits are there in term loans, under charges, some misappropriation is happening. That also you go into the details. Limit amended. Whatever the limit is there, limit should not be amended. Once the limit is sanctioned, it is forever. But in certain cases, limit may be changed. In that case also, exceptional report, why it is changed, what is the reasons, and within 12 months, if 2 times the change is there, you have to suspect. And customer ID is more than 2 outstanding. For every customer, 1 ID one. Last year, Federal Bank, one chartered accountant is handling that one. And one borrower is there. He is availed housing loan, car loan, education, personal loan, 4 loans. But the housing loan is non-performing. Immediately he asked me, sir, why that education personal loan and car loan is not turned into non-performing as per RBI guidelines. Once one ID that borrower is the NPA, one account, all the rest of the accounts should also turn into non-performing. Then immediately I asked the 4 accounts, what are the customer ID? 4 customer IDs are created. Immediately you mentioned in the LFR, then automatically the top people came and the blasted the branch manager also. Debit individual KCC account and credit to third party. KCC amount means the former account only that is to be credited, not to the other account. NP accounts are closely sanctioned to the fresh loan. Some NP accounts they will close and they will open fresh accounts under the same customer ID, which is to be looked into. Sanction personal loans with restricted period. Some loans, the maximum period is 3 years. They will close within 6 months and they will give fresh loan. That is also to be looked into. Self-help groups loan credited to third party. Once it is there, the group savings bank account is there, that is to be created. Why third party account? OD limit sanctioned against third party. Banks are to be given loan against the own depositors, not third party. If third party, what is the reason, rational? That is to be identified. If at all it is wrong, then you have to mention. And the government sponsors loans opened with fixed deposit. Some loans, subsidies, the front end and back end, 2 types are there. If a back end is there, if that particular loan is regularly paid, then only at the end the fixed deposit to be cancelled, the subsidy amount kept in fixed deposit, that is to be cancelled and credited to the borrower account. And but no fixed deposit in certain accounts. Why? Whether the fixed deposit subsidy is allowed by the borrower or bank is allowed or not, that we have to see. KYC details prior to the after sanction. Some of the loans, KYC details 1 day before or 2 days before or after giving the loan, they will change. Why they have changed like that? That is also to be, to conclude, the overall object of the long form audit is to identify and assess the gaps and vulnerable areas in the business operations, risk management, compliance, and the efficacy of the internal audit, and provide the independent opinion on the same to the board of the bank and provide their observation. So whatever I discussed, all these points are to be verified thoroughly. And some of the, I have verified, some of the LFR blank, definitely on account of the budgets, on account of the volume of a business, and on account of knowledge gaps, definitely some errors, omissions are happening. So verify these basics. These are the basics only. And like that, operational risk areas are also there. That also please look into. And whatever the best, if you give the opinion, then board will take action not to erase that type of mistakes. With this, I'm concluding the particular today's webinar. And thank you very much once again to ICI Continuing Professional Education Company. Thank you, sir. Sir, my name is over, sir. You are in mute, sir. Anup, sir, you are in mute.
Okay. Sorry. So thank you so very much, sir, for delivering such a comprehensive and insightful session on bank audit credit risk areas. Although due to time constraint, we are not taking any participant query right, but same will be addressed if mailed. Your presentation has truly enriched our understanding of the practical challenges and key areas that professionals must aware of while conducting bank audits. Your emphasis on analytic judgment, risk assessment, and regulatory compliance has given us timely reminder of the critical role of chartered accountant play in safeguarding the financial integrity of the banking system. On behalf of the CP Committee of ICI and all the participants, I extend our heartful thanks for sharing your time, knowledge, and wisdom with us today. We are grateful for your contribution to the professional development of our members, and we hopeful to benefit from your guidance in future program as well. Thank you once again, sir, for outstanding and power pack session. As we conclude today enriching webinar, I extend sincere thanks to all participants for your active engagement. We begin with valuable session by Narasimhan sir, who shared practical insight on artificial intelligence, followed by impactful presentation by Shiva Rama Prasad sir on credit risk bank audit, reflecting his deep experience in banking sector. Both sessions struck with perfect balance between innovation and core professional responsibilities, echoing the CP committee visions of preparing member for current and future challenges. My heartful appreciation to C. Satish Kumar Gupta sir, Chairman, and C. Vishnu Kumar Agrawal sir, Vice Chairman of CP Committee, for their leadership and support. The CP Committee technical team for smooth backend coordination, and our eminent speakers for their time and insights. And to all participants, thank you for making such webinar successful. We look forward to seeing you every Friday in this CP series. Stay informed, stay updated, stay empowered. Jai ICI, Jai Bharat. Thank you so much.
Now I am closing, sir.